Hey, in this video, I'm sharing an example of how you can create an on-demand direct sales party and share it with your audience using Project Broadcast. And although you can create an experience like this without the use of SparkHub, after all, that's what I did before I created SparkHub, this example is going to showcase how SparkHub helps you to bring it to life. I want you to see how all the pieces come together when you do. So let's go on a tour of a SparkHub-powered on-demand experience. As we discussed in my intro video, an experience means that you or a host will promote, participants sign up, you deliver value through content and communication on a landing page and through a series of texts, and you interact. Now, before we proceed with our example, I want to make sure you understand what I mean when I say an on-demand party. That's a term that I coined back in 2020 and created my direct sales on-demand program and taught this concept to over 2,000 direct sellers. And the idea behind an on-demand party is that you don't have anything in person or anything even live. You don't have a Facebook group you're relying on. You instead create a page that gives essentially your presentation, and then people are going to see that on their own time, on demand. And this is most powerful when it is coupled with a texting strategy so that you are having some one-on-one interaction with each participant as they go through your experience. Now, here's a list of things I need to think about when crafting an experience. I'm going to call this Trisha's Style and Story Pop-Up for my host, Trisha. Is working with a host, and is it evergreen or calendared? Meaning, is it something that's just kind of always open? That would be something like a freebie. Or is it calendared? It has certain dates associated. I'm defining this as calendared because even though people can join anytime and there isn't like a live component, it still has some specific things happening in terms of my to-dos for my host and the date we want to close it, things like that. And in fact, I'm defining a primary date here that the order deadline on her event is March 1st at midnight. I always want to consider if I am going to have content or interaction spaces outside of the basics, the landing page and the one-on-one texts. And in this case, it's purely on demand, nothing else. Within the experience, I have to think of the value proposition. And in this case, I want to help Trisha's friends to feel more stylish and connected. And how will I do it? By sharing style inspiration and the stories behind handmade pieces. The related call to action that I will put forth for the participants is shop, post, or join. Now remember that great experiences follow what I call the Spark framework. We have a sign-up page, the party page, that's our Project Broadcast landing page with the content, authentic conversations including texts, resources for planners, and keeping in touch. So let's take a tour starting with the sign-up page. So here you can see a sign-up page that lives on a Project Broadcast landing page. And there's so many things you can do with landing pages that I can't even go into all of them. But here you can see I have an eye-catching GIF at the top. I am calling out the hostess by name and putting in a description of the event. I can also feature any dates that I want to here on the sign-up page and or later on our party page. You can see here that since this section is supported by SparkHub, it is going to automatically be in the correct time zone for the viewer. They can also click to add to their calendar, or they can open a corresponding link related to that date. I'm also featuring my host here. This photo is coming straight from the host portal as well as her note. And of course, that's something you can do without SparkHub if you gather those things manually, but with SparkHub, it's coming straight from the host in their host portal. And then there's, of course, a sign-up form that includes a little privacy policy from you, and optionally, you can include a guest list at the bottom if you are using SparkHub. That's just showing who has already signed up. Next up is the party page. This is where on-demand events get the most attention because this is that beautiful page that is acting as essentially the presentation. This is the whole thing. There's no live gathering. There's no Facebook group. This is where people get to know you and your company. So as a participant, once I've entered my info and click sign up, let's see where it takes us. Here's our party page, and this is just an example. Again, you can do so many creative things with a party page. Here I'm starting out with a video. I'm letting them click to access me, and then there are these little buttons to take them down to certain sections of the page. I like to welcome the participant by name right here and welcome them to the event, and then have the key info about the event, including the shopping link and again, that key dates area for them to access logistical info that they need. And again, as an on-demand party, this is replacing what I would say if we were gathering in person or on Zoom or whatever. And this is my chance to introduce myself, thank the host, introduce the company, all of those things in one page. So I've got my intro here. I'm thanking the host. There's another note here that they can provide. And I can even prompt the guest to let me know, how do you know Trisha? Click to text and share. And I'll point out that since this page is powered by SparkHub, every time you see Trisha's name mentioned, every time you see an order link, every time you see the name of the event, all of those things are dynamic. So I'm not having to do any of that editing. SparkHub is making sure that this is updated for this event with the correct info. We want to talk a little bit about the company. And in this case, another fun thing you can include is a little slideshow for people to tap through and learn more about a certain topic. And then you could talk about your why and do some product features or product demos. Things like GIFs can be really great for this. Videos, images, even embedding a reel from Instagram can be super fun. And just another example of something you can include would be a quiz. I built this quiz on a tool called Try Interact, and they can take the quiz right there on the page, and then they're prompted to text their results to you. And then you can send them a style page with some recommended pieces. As far as the call to action, we're down here into the next step and having this shop host join or shop share join kind of language. And again, I've got the unique shopping link for this event right there, information about shopping and sharing and joining, and they can click to learn more. And then I close out with a nice footer pointing them to my social channels and ways to stay in touch. Next up is that letter A, the authentic conversations, including automated texts. So let's look at a few examples. I'm not going to go through like a full-blown example of every text that you would send through the course of this experience. But just to name a couple, I always love welcoming participants as soon as they sign up. And this example is showing you what this would look like when the text is sent from SparkHub via Project Broadcast. So when someone signs up, you can immediately text them and welcome them and say, I'm pumped that you're joining host and me. So as you probably know, Project Broadcast includes dynamic fields for things like the name of the person that you're talking to, but there's no dynamic field for the host name or for your party page or for your order link. And so those are things we built into SparkHub. If SparkHub is sending the text for you, it can dynamically include the host name. And where I'm going with this is that's going to make really easy cloning for you when you want to create another experience for another host. There's a special page I prepared for you, attach the party page, and then when it's sent, this is going to turn into the contact's name. Her name is Leah. It's Julie. You're joining Trisha and me, and here's your link. You also want to send out text for your host coaching. You're creating a to-do list for your host to see in their host portal. I'll touch on that in a moment. But you can also send text. So in this case, it's a text that I'm sending Tuesday at 10 a.m. And I want to dynamically include the guest count in here so that she'll know how many people have signed up so far, and also send her a link to her host portal where she can view them. And then as it's sent, it will pop in her name, the number of guests, and the link she needs. Another text you might want to send would be an order reminder to people, but only send it to people who haven't yet ordered on this event. You could say, hello, real quick, we're closing Blank's party tomorrow. Here's the link, and swap in the order link. So when that's sent, of course, SparkHub and Project Broadcast together are going to fill in those dynamic fields with the name, the host name, and the order link specific to your event. So we've covered the first three parts of the Spark framework, the sign-up page, the party page, and the authentic conversations. Next is the letter R, which is resources for planners. In this case, the planner is not just you, but it's also a host. And inside SparkHub, you have the resource of being able to see the guest list at any time, being able to see who has signed up. You can see how they've answered any specific questions that you asked when they signed up, and you can see your own to-do list. So if you've created to-dos for yourself, those are going to be in SparkHub in the event and in your overall task list. But of course, the host is really relevant here too. So if you use our optional host portal, then your host can log in and they can also see who has signed up. They can see who has ordered. They can see their checklist. They can share the invitation out with people easily using a share button in your suggested wording. And they can even contribute a selfie and some wording to your pages as well. Finally, we have the letter K of keeping in touch. With your experience, participants will either receive a final text from you if they didn't order on the event, and that can have some ways to continue the conversation and prompt them to follow you on social media or join some other text campaigns. And if they did place an order, then you put them into a follow-up sequence. And that's outside the scope of this video, but I have another video that explains how order follow-ups work inside SparkHub and how we help you with follow-ups beyond what you can do in Project Broadcast alone. Basically, the guests will get a series of texts that can dynamically include the items that they ordered. And you can also create to-dos for your future self associated with that contact because of the order. So just know that that letter K is all about making sure that this experience is not a dead end. It is the start of further conversation and relationship. So with this experience, what is the work you have to do? Well, there's promoting it, and then the middle two steps are handled automatically, so all you have to do is interact and engage. Monitor your texts, monitor orders coming in, and interact with people as they go through your experience. Now, before we go, I also have got to touch on cloning. With an experience like what we've seen in this example, you're going to want to do it again and again. And if you've used SparkHub, you don't need to create a new set of pages, a new set of text campaigns, a new sign-up form, none of that. And you don't need to look for every time you've mentioned the host name or popped in the order link, and make sure you've edited them all so that you haven't missed a detail. I want software to handle your details for you. So when you clone with SparkHub, you simply clone the event and update the details in one place only. And then SparkHub will edit the sign-up page, the party page for you. It'll create the host portal. It will make sure the timing and content of all of the texts are correct. It can do other actions for you, like applying tags to participants, and to make sure the timing of all the to-dos for you and the host is updated with a new set of dates. So I hope this was helpful for you and inspired you on how you too can use a landing page and texting strategy for an on-demand party. And the good news is, if you're creating a landing page like this, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Probably there's a lot of other content you use elsewhere, such as in Facebook posts, that you can repurpose and put into a landing page context. And if you want me to walk you through the process of creating an experience of any type, I invite you to join my free workshop. The link to my Spark Experiences workshop is in the description of this video. And in this self-paced video workshop, we'll go deep on developing your idea and turning it into reality. And you can even get lots of support from my team and me on creating your landing page and your SparkHub event. So sign up at the link below, and I'll see you in the workshop.